Philly. I run Open Books, a poem emporium, and we are absolutely delighted to be partnering with Amber to celebrate their incredible new collection and all of the amazing artists that they're having on this tour, virtual tour that they're offering in anticipation of what we're excited about for their in-person event here at the store sometime in the fall. A little background on Open Books. We've been in business for more than 30 years and recently moved to Pioneer Square from our first home in Wallingford. We love in-store visits, we love online customers, and we're happy to see you whenever you come. You can find us online at openpoetrybooks.com or come say hi.
Welcome to this virtual series to celebrate my bestie, Amber Flame, and her new book, Apocrypha. Apocrypha is a love story to conjure up queer, non-gendered joy of biblical proportions with a lot of research and acrobatic wordplay. Flame is sharing with us two of her favorite poets and people, Drea Brown and Breezy Janae, who will be voicing the characters in the film of the lover and their beloved. Yes, you heard that right. Flame is making Apocrypha into a film, and we get a sneak peek at this first table reading. Welcome Flame, Drea, and Breezy.
Hello, hello. I just had a deep breath. I hope you did too, where I was like, wait a minute. This is literally for me. Yeah. I'm so excited to have you both here. I wanted to say, I know that you all met like 20 minutes ago virtually via StreamYard, but I have loved you for a long time. And I remember when I decided to make this into a film, that moment where the very next time I talked to each of you, I was like, so I have decided this is what I want to do with the book. Would you be one of the voices? Because I have loved your voices. I have loved the way that you both have a quality to reading your work that I, as a hyperactive fire sign, maybe, I don't know what it is. I just can't go slow. Like even when I speak slowly, my words are fast. You know what I mean? So even when I like draw it out, my words are fast. It just is. But people who can really, I don't know, there's a gravitas, there's a beauty. Plus I wanted queer non-gendered voices. I wanted these like, who is that? Like I wanted some Michelle Nadegliocello type of like mystery, y'all. And you have done it. And I'm super excited to explore this with you. This is literally our first time trying this out. And we're recording it for posterity. There will be a posterity. It's going to grow a big ol' ass. We'll see it. But right now, just welcome. Hi, Drea. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm excited. And, admittedly, as I said earlier, a wee bit nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my new lover and it's such a quick romance.
Yeah, I know.
No dinner. There's,
no courting.
No, and already
jump right in.
We're beloveds.
Already we're beloveds. Yep.
So this is sort of like watch what happens live when you ask two poets to be actors and read in character for an entire book. It's going to be fun though. I think we're going to have fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm most excited about the conversations that are coming up out of this book, which is what this virtual tour will mostly be, or our conversations. And I love that I get to start with you. That was like really exquisitely divine timing. Because like I said, I heard the book. I was like, how am I going to read this book? It's in two voices. It's in three voices really. And as I try to think of like how I was going to tour it or even how to place it as individual poems, it's a story. You're supposed to read it from beginning to end. It's something that happens in verse, but like it's a story. It's two characters and them meeting and falling in love and what happens after. And I did it as a spell, which is why I'm going to talk about that too. And it's, of course, inspired by the Bible. My first porn, shout out to Song of Songs, like get it up for some imagery, some, breasts like fawns and whatnot. Whew, hills and valleys, I'm telling you. But this sort of, I've been writing a lot of blues, as you both know individually. Like I have been performing more and more with my band. And as I've been writing blues, I've been realizing like I really want to lean into the musicality of the call and response with this.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I was like, I'm just going to keep it loose. We'll see what happens. We'll see what they're in the mood for. We'll see, just where they're at. It's also, let's try this. Let's do this. I want to know, do you relate to the beloved, Breezy? You were cast as this character, and as I have depicted the beloved, do you relate to this sort of tending the gardens of home, of
Mm.
being really satisfied with what's like outside the immediate doorway? Tell me
I
about
mean, that certainly fits my personality and the way I live my life currently.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly, on a day-to-day basis, pretty much tend to be in my home or within like a mile of my home. I'll walk to the dog park, I'll walk to a coffee shop nearby, or maybe walk to get, like, I love that I can get whatever I need within walking distance of where I live.
You
And
really
so,
can. I've been there, and it's like I was telling Dre, I was like, and then I got to stay a few days, and it was such a beautiful version of Brooklyn, like to see
yeah,
it through your lens and just have like chill. Like we're like, or we could lay about. We
yeah,
could take a long, slow walk in the park, and it was gorgeous. Like, yeah, it was so wonderful.
yeah. So yeah, I definitely connect to this beloved who is about their own space and about where they live. And comfortable in themselves, and not needing to go out and seek their thrills elsewhere. Um, and I don't know, who doesn't want to be the beloved? Who doesn't want to be the recipient of affection? Um,
I think there are plenty of people who aren't very comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with it,
mm,
like at all. That's what this big discovery for me has definitely been like. What does it mean to be my own beloved? What does it mean? I said something, speaking of Roma Ray, give it up for the bestie, read a poem at Folk Life. And I had this moment where I was like, I have friends who hold me as beloved. And that's really beautiful. Like I had this flash of insight, like, oh my gosh, I do know what it means to receive, but like, I have a hard time recognizing it for sure. But I'm starting to tend my gardens. I cleaned up my front yard.
Hey.
I got some work done. I mean, it's real mullet. It's the real business in the front, party in the sides and back, fringy right now. But there's some clean. It's happening. I'm tending, and it feels lovely to like learn, learn, because I'm like, I don't know, am I clipping the right branches? Don't be too heavy-handed with receiving. I don't know. I think I'm very comfortable being the lover, generally. Yeah. What about you, Drea?
I feel like I've been asking myself that question for a minute, trying to find where I fit. I think I'm pretty comfortable being the lover, the wanderer, the like. But I think there's something very intriguing too about being the beloved and being desired, but also the discomfort in that position at times and the expectations I think that come with it. So, okay, I think I just figured out my answer. I am quite comfortable being the lover. Yeah. There's something about wanting home and also being honest with yourself about, I'm not quite certain if that is a stationary place, if that is a temporary place. Maybe I'll stay a while. Maybe I won't,
I've been saying the lover is a Sagittarius, Breezy. Haven't I been saying that?
Yeah.
And I was like, and Breezy, you leaning into baby, like you, like full on. It makes sense to like be like, I'm gonna settle in and see
Yeah.
what can be brought to me. I aspire, for real. That was inspirational to be like, what could be brought to me? I like. So right now I'm doing all the bringing, but that's fine. It gets there.
It matters.
I mean,
Have
I
you-
love the exchange of it.
I was gonna say, you've definitely,
Mm-hmm.
you're the only one of the three of us, as far as I understand, that's in a long-term, more fixed situation, Drea. So do you find that there's more of an exchange of that role?
Yeah, there has to be.
Yeah. Breezy's like, please let there be. Yeah, there's I mean, I think the lover is the position that I occupy for quite a while. And I am like now in the between, like in the exchange of it. And I enjoy that space.
Yeah.
I think there's something about opening the gate for someone and having them do the same for you, or closing it behind you, So I'm here for building home. I'll say that just in case somebody watching, but I'm here for building home.
Yeah.
And all the risk and possibility of it.
I love
Sagittarius too.
Huh?
I said that's a Sagittarius too. Let's take this risk.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. I think that ultimately what it comes down to is being ready to, like, ready to risk it all. And this sort of, I think the first thing that came up when I started talking about the book after it was out was like this realization that ultimately these two people had to figure out a way to like fully be themselves and trust that the other person was in the relationship fully too, as a full person, and not as like you have to be willing to have the conversation of how to redefine what love is, what partnership looks like. I just, for the full moon, I'm going to ask you this. So think about it. The full moon in Sagittarius last night, I wrote this like really unexpected line. It was like, what are you releasing, or what are you leaving behind this? It was, what are you leaving behind this full moon? And I wrote this line and I was like, where did that come from? Where I was just like, I'm like forgetting all I know about love. I'm forgetting all, like, I'm going to lean in with curiosity. Like, I don't know nothing. Like, I am new to this and I don't know what I want. I don't know what I like. Like, let me figure it out. Let me learn. Let me find myself in places where I am experiencing delight and like be curious and hungry and yes to those spaces. And like, and then I texted y'all both like the affirmation from Channing today, where I was like, this is what I'm saying. Like, let me find myself among people, right? Like that foster that. And it's friendship. It's like, it's like my relationship with my kid, as my kid is starting to like teeter on the edge of adulthood, and figuring shit out there. It's building the home. It's like laying down foundation and tending something and doing it with purpose. And an eye towards like, what will it look like in 10 years or 20 years, And then I get a little squirmy and squeamish. And so I book a trip and then I'm like, okay, see, like you need balance. Like it's just as much me balancing both these roles in myself. That's what this is right now, so that I can figure out like, what do I like, and what am I hungry to receive, and what am I hungry to give? It's a whole journey of healing. Like, can't find a therapist, but I could write a book. I could write some poetry.
Ain't that
me?
Listen, Breezy, I know you know, and I know that you know. Shoo. Yeah. Like, it's pretty cool though to have an opportunity, a window, an opening to have conversations with my brilliant friends. Breezy, I know that like, okay, how do I say this? What did I say to her? I was like, Breezy is a bad motherfucker. Breezy is just sort of like casually like, oh yeah, I guess that third book is coming out now, and I know you haven't said much, and I know why, but like, okay, how about this? Will you share a little bit about the anguish that forces you to the page with such regularity that you have like 3 solid books, and I know that you are working on more, like, even though the going is slower than it's been, maybe it ceases not. Will you talk a little bit about your work and just like, what makes you do it?
Yeah, I think I write out of my sense of uncertainties in the world, and like my sense of the moments where I feel lost, or the moments where there's something that I want to say that I don't maybe have the space, or I don't feel I have the space to say it in the world, but I could say it on the page. But I write towards what I don't know, or towards what I can't understand. And
To quote you, sorry.
No, but and there's always things in life that like I'm uncertain about, or I don't understand, or and so there's always something to write about. And and like even joy is sometimes the thing that I don't quite understand. And something that can be explored on the page.
Yeah, like a relationship, that's like a real easy way to not commit, but like explore relationships, but not be in a relationship. It's like, this one's a lot prettier and cleaner.
Yeah.
But I love what you're saying, not to make light of it, but like, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's always something to write about because there's always things I don't understand. I love that. Like, I don't know. Do you think you're going to be able to die empty?
With all my words with everything I need to say, having written? I don't know. I feel like that assumes that like I'll be ready to die all of a sudden. There'll always be something that there to write about as long as I'm alive. And I can't spend every moment alive writing. I'll be too busy dying to get the last bit out. So I don't think I'll die empty. But
you'll die still flowing.
Yeah.
Word. Okay. I'm starting to rethink that whole Prince self-adage, the thing I said Prince said to me about dying empty. I'm like, I don't know that he died empty. I think there's a whole lot that Prince would have continued to make.
Yeah, like would you always can just be randomly humming a tune?
Yeah,
like that tune that comes to you the day that you die, that you don't get the chance to write out. Or there's like some poet that wrote a line, texted a line of poetry to someone as he was dying.
Oh, damn.
But that was only one line, and I'm sure there was more to that poem, but he was too busy dying.
He was too busy dying.
Too busy dying.
Breezy, damn poet. Can't help yourself. Speaking in poetics all the time. I'm serious. Like, this is like why I like to ask you questions. Okay. You too, Drea. I get to talk to Drea less often. But one of the things that Drea is actually one of the things that both of you are, is somebody who like has read books where I'm like, that's too hard and it hurts my brain. And you all are like, so let me break it down for you like this. And I'm like, oh shit, I need to get back, hit them books. Drea, you are so smart. And when I say that, I don't say it lightly because I feel pretty proud of how smart I am. But like, when I say that you two have elevated my scholarship, I mean that on such a like y'all don't even know. Like, if I go Beyonce on this shit, it's because you taught me to like fucking read some shit and understand some shit and ask some questions. And watching you go through the process of writing that poem and getting to see a couple of iterations to the final was like, it broke me open in a way that like I said, when Breezy came out of their cottage and was like, I spent all day writing a poem, and I was like, what does that mean? Like,
the whole thing.
I was gonna call this compendium, y'all. I was gonna call this compendium. It was gonna be a compendium of words with poetic definitions. That's it. That was what I was reaching for. Like, I absolutely credit like the influence of being surrounded by brilliant minds like you. Andrea, like, I know how much time you're taking on your work, and I know why, because you're gonna be like exquisite with some shit. And like, I'm so excited. I don't even know where you're at with your work, but I want to know, like, you have to carve time out of a full-time professor situation in Texas. Bless your heart. Bless your heart.
Thank you.
State of my birth, state of my exile. No, what brings you back to the page? What insists?
What brings me back to the page? What insists? I think, I don't know, I suppose in some ways, writing always feels like a kind of call and response, whether there's some kind of unasked question that needs like probing, or, you know, some kind of meditation on to come up with multiple answers that could change depending on the day. Sometimes it is an urgency of like what needs to move through the body so you can sleep. I don't know. So I feel, I guess what I'm learning to accept about writing and my writing process is that, you know, regardless of Black academia or like creative spaces, the writing has to remain, right? And I think the poetic, or the poet in me, is everywhere I am. So sometimes it might be a question that a student asked that led me to look out the window and see something that makes me now think about, do you know what I mean? Everything seems to tie into everything else. I don't know. I'm thinking about what Breezy said. What Breezy said, also that question of like, will you die empty? And I'm like, no, with a mouthful, right? Like there's so much to wonder. There's so much, that like haunts that you have to speak back to. Yeah. So.
Yeah. See, I'm telling y'all make me feel lazy. This is a motherfucker who, when I was like, this is how it started. I said, you've heard of the book Blues Legacies in Black Feminism? And Dre says, of course. And I was about to continue to say,
I'm sorry,
I've been trying to read that book for fucking 20 years. It's been on my shelf since college. And I cannot get past the prologue because it's cough, cough, dry. But before I can say that, Dre continues and says, I teach that book. And I was like, well, damn, let me get schooled real quick.
This is like chapters.
Listen, but like, to excerpt, you need to have read in its entirety to understand, notated, etc. Like, yeah, no, I know what it means that you teach that book. And maybe if I had taken your class, I would appreciate it more. But like, that's the thing, is you both have made me so hungry for knowledge. I told you, Breezy, I just picked up my my Sadia Hartman. I'm about to get my Christina Sharp on. I'm gonna, you know, like I'm getting my own scholarship. And one of the things that I've been saying about Apocrypha, it's 9 years in the making. I said I had to give myself like a master's level education on some like formal poetry. And, you know, maybe it was like a low res, free state funded master's in formal poetry, but I learned some shit. I learned a lot to write this book, and I learned it a lot because you all both pointed me, you, Kate, Anna, I mean, people, my early readers, Natasha, like all those people really did point me towards people who would make me better by doing my research, by doing my study. And I hope that I, to some degree, honored you and honored them in this book, because this is like, I worked really fucking hard on it. I don't know that I needed it. I needed it it was a spell, and I needed to take my time to weave it. And so I'm excited because we have a micro grant from Black Cinema Collective to make it a Black, queer, non-gender, joyful piece of visual art as well. That is already, I'm already starting to gather footage, and you both will be physically in it, I hope, in parts, as well as vocally in it throughout. So you've never done this before, besides the 20 minutes before this. But we're going to try reading some of these poems together and see what happens. We're going to try it my way first for this reading. And then I'm hoping that this will inspire you to like sit with it a little bit and be like, how do I, and do we want to play with it? We have time. It's on our own schedule. And next time we meet, there will be no anticipation or fear of an audience, because we will be doing it for recording and they can see it when we're fucking done. But you have bravely stepped into this space with me today for 0 people watching. So don't worry. It all happened after the fact and already be done. We're going to begin on page 53. So this is, let's see, this is good right in the middle of the book at this point. And they are parting or about to part. No, they parted. They've just parted after this sort of mad and intense love affair. Not so mad as like wondrous, I think. I want to avoid like, I was playing the Jill Scott, like, it's love. You got they say I'm tripping, like, and I was like, maybe I'm thinking more like I don't know. Like I keep coming back to I want a Sunday kind of love. Like I just keep coming back to it because there's something like I don't want, Aretha had some foul relationship advice. So I'm trying to think of like what can you like fling your whole self into? And what happens when you're not left with a sense of I lost myself or I misplaced, I have to reclaim me, so much as you are left with just like a pure longing for that to continue, for that to not be the end. And you really think it is. Like that's where we're at, right? Like the lover's like, I'll come back, and the beloved's like, nah, that's I don't know. I don't believe that. I don't believe you. And what does that mean? To not believe the lover. So in we jump with door, a Romanian noun. 1, hurt that comes from separation. 2, a person feeling physical pain from wanting.
Tarry yet here with me in
love, an uncut path.
Shades 2 long tendrils.
Lack, a briar patch.
A risk I will call belief, name hope.
La douleur exquise, French phrase. 1, a heart that aches because it does not receive the love it longs for. 2, one who wants to be loved in return, but is not.
You found me wing-ridden.
And I drew near, as if
a bed of spices
offered flight.
Now there are foxes in my vineyards.
With all the world still to taste.
My head fills with dew.
See, I'm remembering. This is like comfort food. This is very Song of Songies, like vineyards, foxes in the vineyards. That's definitely in Song of Songs. This idea of growing, letting yourself grow overgrown and wild. with loss. We're going to skip ahead a little bit to page 62. Pozwolnić, a Czech verb. 1. Abandon contact before the other person can answer. 2. Save oneself from consequence by abruptly ending a contact.
I cannot love you enough to unlove the wide world.
Golden shovel, laceration.
To unlove my own precious stem, the undigging a wound wide enough to birth you the world.
Epistle, a letter with a promise after receiving no response.
Dearest, oh, the wonders in this world. Each place is its own marvel. I feel my eyes devour like mouths whose thirst cannot be slaked. There is nowhere life does not bud, thrumming its everyday song. Yesterday, the dawn greeted me at water's edge as I watched fishing boats and gulls begin their dance. I am at peace, my heart. Yes, and you are still the only one named home.
Sestina, intention.
What is it I can offer? A bed for your bones, a refuge warm. Does it matter if you will not rest, if you prefer empty? My house is never an empty cup. Desire this host offer, a place of sustenance, rest, and my delight in your very bones, a place where you matter, and our bed is always warm. Now you grow lukewarm, a promise emptied is no laughing matter. What then will you offer to reflesh my bones, to resolve this unrest? Where is the rest of you when I come to warm each of my bones in a hearth now empty of every flame you offered? Tell me I still matter. Do I still matter? Will I be left the rest, the remains of an offering? You, a warm regard replaced with empty belly, with skin and bones? And I forget how traced bones were all that matter, not the places we left empty or the bed we fell into, restless and fevered. You warm and I an empty open offer. Return, offer me back your bones, warm to me again. You are the matter of all my rest. You fill my empty home.
Awesome. Let's do one more. Let's see, page. This is a consideration. Just a little bit of joy to end on.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. If I can find it. Hold on just a second. There it is. Okay. Page 82. Media naranja, a Spanish phrase. 1. The half that betters the whole. 2. One who feels incomplete or bisected.
Overflown banks.
Long loneliness,
Broken levees past.
carved valley of my chest.
Instruct my course, a boundless outline.
Remind me,
It rains, beloved.
hold my own mouth wide.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a treat. Thank
Yeah.
you. Oh, okay. So I know now what I want. So I have to go through it now that I've heard you. And there will be ones where I'll just want to record you doing your side. so that I can weave them in, and there will be a little bit more overlapped because there's ones where I think it's like both internal dialogue, like internal monologue, right? And so they're thinking about the same thing, but they're sort of not actually talking to each other. Or it's more, I don't know, like the pauses will come if you're waiting for each other, but there's a certain flow of how you would say it. So even if I broke it up and there were pauses, it would sound like it was flowing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm excited to start playing with it, like orally. It's going to be so fun. And I don't know if I told you this, but we met as a part of the Jack Straw Showcase. We met this this woman named Leanne, who plays flute and uses like a microphone and a loop pedal to create these like soundscapes with like bass flute. And I mean, it's beautiful. It's wildly beautiful. And then my nephew has started to really explore the bassoon. So we're going to have some like wind instrument. There's going to be interludes. There's going to be some really, I'm really excited to continue making this a beautiful thing and to play with your voices and like the sound of it. So yeah, this is going to be beautiful because of you. Thank you.
Because of you.
Because of me too. Because of us. It was a community effort. It's a group effort spearheaded by myself, of course.
Yes. Fearless leader.
Fearless leader. Maybe not fearless, but stepping into it anyway.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Thank you. Like that brought me so much. I'm like sparkling with ideas of how this can go. And thank you for sharing this time and space with me and kicking this off. As I told you, this will live on the YouTube channel. There will be a playlist called Apocrypha, the virtual tour. I actually updated my website so you can get to it and watch it over and over again, send it to people. I'll figure out how to fix it so it goes public on Facebook. I kind of, like I said, this is for me. And if you want to come get some joy, then you're welcome. It's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
And that's all, folks. I do want to say that I wanted to thank Open Books for being like, that sounds awesome. We would totally like co-present it. That's wonderful. If you are a poet and you're coming into Seattle, they have workshop space, salon space, an Airbnb. I think that they're doing retreats, and they're a poetry only bookstore. So they will like feature your book prominently if they know you're coming, you're working with them. So let me know if you need that connect. You already know, but if anybody else ever hears this and you want that connect, you should look into Open Books, and also Hedgebrook helped support this as well. Just because they are the community through which I found both of you, and they also lent some support with software. So thanks, Hedgebrook, and thank you. That's it. That's all I got in the broadcast now. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, beloved.
Thank you.